Hello, I am Dr. Evaluator, and what we are going to be doing is debunking the entire noob tiering system in just a little less than 10 minutes. First of all, we're going to be debunking outerversal characters. Characters who claim to defeat other gods who are also outerversal are claimed, according to the noob tiering system, using such like abilities, put themselves above the god tier complex, which basically means that this person that is in the god tier complex, which basically means they're separated from time, reality, space, because that is literally the definition of where gods are, basically puts the character in a position to where he is outerversal, and you may as well say he have limitless power. But that doesn't make any sense. In Yoguri's case, he defeated a god who, according to the noob tiering system, had infinite power. So whatever hacks or ability he used to take out that god, then what other ability did the god have? Did the show specify that this god had or had not have limitless power? Or did it basically even specify that Yoguri had limitless power, or either he was holding back his power during the battle and mid-fight with the gods and just all of a sudden decided to show off and kill the god, or he did not know anything about his hack's ability up until he started fighting the god, and when he got that serious, then he took him out. I mean, there is no context that says either of it. All according to the noob tiering system, it says he just defeated the god. And they're adding what they believe and what they falsely acknowledge, according to the noob tiering system, makes the character Yoguri outerversal. But if he's outerversal, what about the other god? What about the other god having infinite power, also possessing the same abilities? A character that is claimed to have infinite power could do whatever they please with having infinite power. So if there is a hack's ability that no one could not reach but Yoguri, then the show creators would literally specify that is why it happened. But once again, even if he did have infinite power, then what about this other god? What other ability did he have to actually prevent him from actually killing Yoguri? I mean, was this all a show? Was it something the show creators actually put together to confirm to the noob tiering system they are right and they know what they're talking about? No, they actually don't, and it's all wrong. First of all, if Yoguri possessed the ability to have infinite power, then point blank and period, he should have no problem but slaying other people who are beneath him. That is according to the noob tiering system. But if he's fighting the character who has the same ability as he does, who also had limitless power, according to the noob tiering system, both characters sitting in the same division ought to be more stronger than one another. Or, according to the noob tiering system once more, the god is separated from reality while the other character is sitting in reality, so therefore the god should have been done wiped him out. Nobody knows what's actually going on. They're just saying that he had the ability to do this and now he's an outerversal character. How could he be an outerversal character? And we haven't specified nothing about this other god, his abilities, and what has he done. So that mean whoever, now that Yoguri killed this god, that mean anybody else can come behind Yoguri and do the same exact thing and kill him, and then they could take his tier and being an outerversal character. Do you see how stupid that makes? That doesn't make any sense. That's out of the air. That's just something that the noobs decide to put together and just actually make it make sense when it does not make any sense. In fiction, two characters that both have the same raw speed and power, they are equal to one of another. Any character that both sits in the same dimension, 6D, cannot beat one another until the other decides to transcend and go a bit above the character. There is no such thing as a character being stronger in mid-fight and all of a sudden blitzing the other character out of existence. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. All Might, in All Might's case or scenario, Nomu was made to fight 100% of his power. All Might all of a sudden gave more than just 100% of his power and wound up beating Nomu. In Goku's case, just like in Saitama and many others, etc., hold back their power just so that they could see the limitations of both characters and their opponents. Once they get to the limitation of how they actually see their opponent is, then basically that's when they go and execute their final source. That's when they finally use their final move and wind up taking the character out. It doesn't make any sense that the character will have to sit there and just go all out and then get beat up in the process and all of a sudden wind up killing the god. It's either Yogiri knew about the ability but did not know how to use it until he started fighting the god, or he already knew how to use it and he was just holding back so that then he could see the limitations of the god, which once again contradicts the noob tiering system. Here's my biggest question that I will pose. Can an outerversal character be defeated? Can an outerversal character get blitz speed by another outerversal character? No, because they're both in the same dimension. If he has limitless power and the other character has limitless power, they cannot beat each other. Virgil versus Dante, we would not know who's holding back or who's trying to use all their power because they both are in the same league. Sometimes we even see that situation with Goku and Vegeta at the beginning of the Dragon Ball Z battle. They both were tied in power and in strength. Sometimes we actually even get that in Naruto. We will see Sasuke and Naruto himself drawing a tie in their power. So this alone contradicts the noob tiering system that characters that sits in the same power cannot beat one another. So this goes to show you that 1, they're lying about Yogiri having limitless power, and 2, they're lying about the god he fought had limitless power and limitless speed, because what they're saying in a noob tiering system does not align up with what the show creators say or what they actually intended for what the show to be as. Point blank and period. Next topic is infinite power. Green Lantern's ring has infinite power, just like Goku's technique. His hack's ability has infinite power. How could you say this? Goku does not have raw speed the way he uses the instant teleportation. Let me explain. Yogiri used the hack's ability to defeat a god to obtain the godhood, which doesn't make any sense, because the noob tiering system excludes a character using hack's abilities as having limitless speed. But since he went into godhood by using that ability to fight another god, actually puts him at the case of being an outerversal character, which is dumb, because if it excludes that in raw speed, it should also exclude him using a hack's ability to take down a limitless character, because it also once again proves that the character who is in the irrelevant speed field and the outerversal field has limitless power. So what a stupid hack's ability has anything to do in which the noob tiering system excludes using to take out a character ascending to godhood? It doesn't make any sense. Contradiction number 2. Pointed. Now back to Goku's scenario. Goku obtained the technique. The technique took him feeling ki and energy throughout all of the universe. So, however, if this technique had an ability, well, actually a limitation, even if Goku felt all of the ki energy being charged on planet Earth while he was sat on another side of the galaxy, it will literally be impossible for him to teleport to that planet. He would not be able to be teleported to that planet, possibly because of the distance. That basically even explains that Goku's ability would have limitations, and so therefore he not only just in his raw speed will have limits, but the technique he has will also have limits. But because Dragon Ball Z says he has the potential to get stronger, this technique allows Goku to teleport anywhere throughout the galaxy as long as he feels the key and the energy in the specific location he is going to teleport in. I've stayed a little bit 10 minutes longer, so let me go ahead and prologue the story. So, all in all, we're just going to give this a little case where Goku does not have any limits when it comes to him using his instant transmission. Another thing that I also want to conclude is Lex Luthor making it past the source wall. Now, clearly in DC Comics, it is very common for any character to make it past the source wall. It does not mean that because Lex Luthor passed the source wall, he's bigger and badder and more stronger than Trigon. No, that is what you call a power scale fallacy. When the content actually shows or explain a human, according to the DC universe, making it past the source wall, they're literally letting you know, because you haven't seen anybody else do it, don't mean that they can't do it. Trigon has the ability to go past the source wall. DC hasn't intended this for him because he's too big of a character and he's too powerful to actually even write a story about. That is the reason why, even most of the times, they can't give Trigon too much story because he's too much of a character. Unlike any other supervillains throughout the DC comics, they have more meaning and more purpose in their story, and all Trigon wants to do is destroy and take over everything. I'm sure even the writers, talented enough, will clearly show you that Trigon is way more powerful than Lex Luthor. Also, this is a question that I want to pose for those people who believe Lex Luthor making it past the source wall is stronger than Trigon. Since Lex Luthor made it past the source wall and he got a hold of the anti-life equation, why did not he destroy Darkseid? Why he didn't decide to take over all of the continuity of the DC universe? I mean, if you watch Justice League Unlimited, you will see him bonding with Brainiac. He, quote unquote, said that he ascended it into godhood, and he's been spending the entire miniseries trying to get a hold of Brainiac so he can get back to that level of that tier. He wanted to basically destroy the Justice League, and he wanted to take over all of the world and basically rewrite history, rewrite creation as we know it. So all of a sudden, Lex Luthor decides to make it past the source wall, get a hold of the anti-life equation, and just don't destroy Darkseid, but rather make a business approach to him and give him the anti-life equation and somehow get absorbed into the source wall. It doesn't make any sense. This was Lex Luthor's modem. Lex Luthor wanted to rewrite creation. He wanted to destroy the Justice League. While all of a sudden, fighting Darkseid, and he decided to just change his mind if the source wall was much of a big thing to be talking about, and anybody that make it past the source wall could be a very powerful individual. While all of a sudden, Lex Luthor, as evidence shows, did not want to destroy the Justice League, but instead make a deal with Darkseid and get absorbed into the source wall. When you basically, however, look at this, making it past the source wall, according to the DC Comics, has nothing to do with your power scale. Isn't that funny? It has nothing to do with your power scale, as well as going from one dimension to another. It has nothing to do with Superman going to the sixth dimension and fighting his future self. It has nothing to do with Wonder Woman going in the eighth dimension fighting herself. That has nothing to do with power scale. Once again, that is what you call a power scaling fallacy. People taking the content for what it not is and basically throwing it out of their own agendas to prove that it validates the noob tearing system. I've already showed you how contradictory it basically is. The 5D, 11D, 12D I'm gonna post another video on that topic. But once again, Lex Luthor is not stronger than Trigon, and he cannot beat Trigon. And the source had even said those who make it past the source wall obtain immortality, obtain power beyond fiction, and obtain limitless power, which is all stupid and redundant, and it had anything to do with one possessing the ability to be omnipotent nor all-powerful. If this was the case and scenario, then the Justice League Unlimited show would have continued with Lex Luthor recreating history, or a novel would be written about this version of Lex Luthor destroying the Justice League, bringing Brainiac back, and recreating all of the continuity of the DC universe. But it's not. When you get a hold of the anti-life equation, you have the ability to do whatever the definition is that define the anti-life equation. So clearly it has nothing to do with power, but that's just another topic. This, once more, is Dr. Evaluator. I will be posting more content soon. Evaluator out.